In the case of Mohamed Salah in particular, if he's not scoring goals, he's not giving you much more. Roberto Firmino is a guy that doesn't really score goals prolifically. And so for him, it's more natural to kind of run around and get touches on the ball and assist a goal here and there and kind of get involved in the build-up of the play and so on and so forth. But Salah doesn't get involved. He just parks himself on one side of the field, and if he's not scoring goals, he doesn't give you a lot more than that. And then that limits what you do on that particular side of the field, wherever he may be. So they need a better version of him, a more productive version of him. They need Sadio Mane to be the guy that takes players 1v1. They need more creativity coming out of the midfield, more of a presence in the attacking half coming out of the midfield. They need somebody to score a goal, because it's really difficult to see that graphic that we just saw where Liverpool hasn't scored a goal or scored only one goal since December 19, and they haven't won a game since December 19. A whole month of Liverpool not winning games and a whole month of Liverpool not really scoring. That's hard to believe for a team that we've considered to be explosive and dynamic. They have been everything but that over the last month or so.
And I think in that time there's been effort after effort. Craig, what can Klopp do about a situation like this when the forwards just aren't scoring, even though the chances are coming?
Let me just say before I answer that, I feel as if I've let the side down today, because even Shaka's got a shirt on. And here I'm sat here with a hoodie on. Mr. Casual here, so...
Have you got your granddad slippers on as well?
If Shaka has a shirt on?
Yeah, that's the bar. What can he do? He can play them. He can try and get the supply line up to them. You can't really do much about it when you're going through a hard time. You've just got to keep plugging away. But if you look through where the problems are in this Liverpool side, and I do think, depending on the team selection, that United are favourites for this game, because the worm has turned, in my opinion. You look at the problems, some of them are glaringly obvious and others are not. I mean, Ali mentioned the goals and the flatness up front. That's true, for sure. The lack of an alternative to Roberto Firmino that I've been crying out for a while. Somebody that can come on and when they're whipping balls in the box is a penalty box striker. There's been literally no goals from the middle of the park. I think one from Henderson and one from Wijnaldum, and that's it. That's just not good enough, particularly when your strikers are not scoring. You need somebody then from the middle of the park to get making runs into the box and be chipping in, like all the good teams did over the years, like the Scholes for United, like Lampard for Chelsea, like Gerrard for Liverpool. The list goes on. And then you look at the problems they've had at the centre-back position and having to drop Fabinho back in there. So it's been clear. But I think one of the biggest issues that they've had, and it's been overlooked, is the fullbacks. You know, Trent Alexander-Arnold has been having a much more problematic season. His form has dipped, he's had injuries. Andy Robertson is still getting up and down like a Trojan, but that final quality's not there. And you can't underestimate, Kay, how much progression and progressive they were when their fullbacks were absolutely flying. That's where their biggest attacking threat was coming from. Yes, they played all this nice football. Yes, they controlled games. Yeah, the front guys were great. But it was all about Robertson and Alexander-Arnold flying down that wing at pace, quick tempo football, and good quality into the box. I think Liverpool have lost a step in that department. And I think that's one of the main reasons why they've not been playing as well.
Yeah, problems all over the pitch. Klopp himself said they can't even think about the title right now. Do you think that their title chances are slipping away because of these reasons?
No, look, I don't agree with that. Look, this Liverpool team, you know, we know they're good enough, right? The question is now, can they turn that around? He moaned and groaned at the start of the season and then well into the season about everything, about substitutions, about broadcasters, about scheduling. And I think that, in some sense, had an adverse effect on his players because players listen. But there's no doubt that they're good enough. And the games that they've got coming up, obviously, they're not going to be easy. At Tottenham, you know, at West Ham, who've been going well. But the bottom line is they've got to get results. And look, I always felt this season would be a more difficult one for Liverpool, but not as difficult so far as it's turning out. Because if you think about it, you know, over the last 3 or 4 years, you had City on 100 points, and then on sort of 99, I think it was, you had Liverpool on 98 and losing the league, and then in 98 or 99 when winning the league. I think to ask a team to do that for a third season is unlikely. Even City themselves couldn't do it. Last year they had quite a drop-off. So The drop-off's not unexpected from Liverpool, but how far they've dropped so far is quite the shock.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.